die now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
On December 11, 1994, Philippine Airlines Flight 434 was cruising at 10,000 meters when tragedy struck. An explosion rocked the aircraft, caused by a bomb planted on board. The blast claimed the life of a passenger and severely damaged the plane. With 293 lives at stake, the crew faced a race against time to maintain control and ensure the safety of everyone on board. The bombing sent shockwaves rippling across the globe, triggering an urgent international manhunt for the terrorist responsible. Meanwhile, the perpetrator, operating under the alias Amado Forlani, continued to plot further acts of terror, poised to strike again. As dawn broke on that fateful day, Forlani, a skilled terrorist bomb builder hailing from Pakistan, embarked on his deadly mission. Disguised under a false identity, he meticulously executed his plan, knowing that any mistake could have catastrophic consequences. Forlani's intricate scheme was not merely an isolated act of violence. It was part of a larger plot targeting American carriers. Investigators soon uncovered the chilling truth. The explosion on Flight 434 was just a test, a precursor to a potentially devastating attack on a much larger scale. In the midst of this chaos, the crew of Flight 434 grappled with the grim reality of their situation. With communication systems malfunctioning and the plane's control compromised, their efforts to navigate through the crisis were met with uncertainty and fear. Despite the overwhelming odds, the crew remained steadfast in their determination to avert disaster. Through sheer determination and unwavering resolve, they managed to stabilize the aircraft and guide it towards safety, sparing the lives of hundreds of passengers. But the aftermath of the bombing revealed a sobering truth. The threat of terrorism loomed large, casting a shadow of fear and uncertainty over the aviation industry. As authorities scrambled to apprehend the perpetrators and prevent future attacks, the world was left grappling with the harsh reality of a new era of global insecurity. In the wake of this tragedy, the heroic actions of the crew of Flight 434 served as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Their bravery and sacrifice would forever be remembered as a beacon of hope in a world plagued by darkness and uncertainty. With calculated precision, the terrorist, disguised as Aldo Forlani, strategically navigated through the airport, blending seamlessly into the bustling crowd of travelers. His forged Italian passport provided him with the perfect cover, allowing him to slip past airport security without raising suspicion. Every detail of his plan had been meticulously crafted, from the design of the bomb components to his carefully chosen seat on the aircraft. As he boarded Philippine Airlines Flight 434, bound for Tokyo, the sense of anticipation mingled with the adrenaline coursing through his veins. This was not just another flight. It was a crucial step in his mission to sow chaos and destruction. With a stopover in Cebu, he knew that this leg of the journey would take him as far as he needed to go for the day. Seated over the center fuel tank in seat 26K, the bomber concealed his true intentions behind a facade of normalcy. To the unsuspecting eye, he appeared to be just another passenger, perhaps a weary traveler embarking on a routine journey. But beneath the surface lurked a calculated menace, a ticking time bomb waiting to unleash its deadly payload. Meanwhile, Captain Edinburgh, a seasoned pilot with years of experience under his belt, greeted passengers with a reassuring smile as they settled into their seats. The aircraft hummed with anticipation as the engines roared to life, propelling them towards their destination. The cabin crew, including steward Maria de la Cruz, went about their duties with practiced efficiency, unaware of the danger lurking in their midst. As the plane soared through the skies at 10,000 feet, the bomber seized the opportunity to set his plan into motion. With a sense of urgency, he made his way to a vacant lavatory, where he began to assemble the explosive device with meticulous care. Each component was carefully arranged, every wire connected with precision. Time seemed to slow as he worked, the only sound in the cramped confines of the lavatory, the steady thrum of the aircraft's engines. Outside, the world passed by in a blur as the plane hurtled through the sky. Below, the Philippine landscape stretched out in a patchwork of greens and blues, a tranquil scene that belied the chaos unfolding on board. With each passing minute, the tension in the cabin grew palpable, a silent undercurrent of unease that lingered in the air. Back in the cockpit, Captain Edinburgh and his crew remained focused on the task at hand, their years of training and experience guiding them through the routine motions of flight. But beneath their calm exterior lay a sense of apprehension, a nagging feeling that something was amiss. As the bomber completed the final assembly of the explosive device, a sense of grim satisfaction washed over him. His mission was nearing its conclusion, his deadly payload ready to be unleashed upon the unsuspecting passengers below. With a steady hand, he concealed the bomb within the confines of his carry-on luggage, masking its presence from prying eyes. With his task complete, the bomber returned to his seat, blending once more into the sea of passengers. The final step was to set the timer, ensuring that the explosion would occur 4 hours later, long after the bomber had left the plane. As Philippine Airlines Flight 434 prepared for its final approach into Cebu, more passengers boarded the aircraft, unaware of the danger lurking within. Among the new passengers was 24-year-old engineer Haruki Murakami, eager to return home to Tokyo after his first trip overseas. Captain Ed Reyes led the crew, unbeknownst to them, seated in 26K, the seat previously occupied by the bomber, was Haruki Murakami. As the flight cruised at 10,000 meters, everything seemed normal to the passengers. Some were reading magazines, others enjoying their meals, while a few settled in for a nap. However, the tranquility was shattered when the bomb exploded, ripping through the cabin and causing chaos. Yukiko Sui, seated one row behind the blast site, was severely injured, but his immediate concern was Haruki Murakami, who had been engulfed by the explosion. Despite the crew's efforts to minimize panic among the passengers, the severity of the situation was apparent. Captain Reyes quickly assessed the damage, realizing that the autopilot steering system had been compromised. With one of the injured passengers in need of urgent medical attention, Reyes made the decision to attempt an emergency landing at Naha Airport on the island of Okinawa, still hours away from Tokyo. As Flight 434 descended towards Naha Airport, the crew's heroic efforts to stabilize the aircraft and save the lives of those on board would soon be put to the ultimate test. Captain Reyes swiftly orders the co-pilot to issue a Mayday call. However, the emergency proves to be complex, with landing at Naha Airport presenting significant challenges. The autopilot, unresponsive to Captain Reyes's commands, continues to steer the aircraft off course. Desperate to regain control, Captain Reyes consults the Quick Reference Handbook, QRH, a vital resource for pilots in emergencies. Captain Reyes realizes that since the explosion, he can only maintain a straight flight path. As the aircraft struggles to land, passengers grow increasingly anxious about their safety. Captain Reyes confronts the daunting task of landing a crippled aircraft 10,000 meters above the Pacific Ocean, posing a grave threat to the 292 people on board. Now, as the Philippine Airlines 747 becomes a crime scene under Japanese jurisdiction, investigators begin the arduous task of unraveling the mystery behind the catastrophic event. Forensic analysis reveals numerous fragments embedded in the victim's body, indicating the force of the explosion. Despite the tragic loss of life, the situation could have been far worse. They methodically collected evidence, starting from the largest fragments and meticulously working their way down to the tiniest particles, even resorting to vacuum cleaners to retrieve every shred of material. One investigator, with remarkable skill, reconstructed dozens of burned fragments to identify the bomb's timer, a modified digital wristwatch. Deputy Chief Sonny Razan of the Philippine National Police took charge of the investigation, recognizing the urgency and gravity of the situation. On January 6, 1995, a stroke of luck turned the tide in the investigation. Smoke billowing from the Manila apartment of the Flight 434 bomber and his accomplice caught the attention of the doorman. Although the duo attempted to downplay the situation, claiming it was a minor chemical mishap, the persistent doorman alerted the fire department and police. As the authorities arrived, the bomber, fearing exposure, persuaded his friend to retrieve his laptop from the apartment. Police inspectly realized the gravity of the situation upon inspecting the apartment. The tension escalated as the bomber fled the scene, leaving authorities to piece together the puzzle. The Philippine National Police swiftly alerted international counterparts. In New York, FBI Special Agent Frank Pellegrino sprang into action upon receiving news of the raid. Of particular significance is the discovery of an ID card belonging to the individual who planted the bomb on Flight 434. This revelation sends shockwaves through the aviation security community. Ramzi Yousef, an international terrorist mastermind, despite the intensive investigation, Yousef remains at large, evading capture and continuing to pose a significant danger. The Philippine National Police's inadvertent discovery of Yousef's hideout marks a pivotal moment in the international effort to apprehend him. With the FBI confirming Yousef's identity as the perpetrator behind Flight 434, the urgency to bring him to justice intensifies. Ramzi Yousef, known by several aliases, including Abdul Karim Basit, occupies the top spot on the FBI's most wanted list, with a staggering $2 million bounty on his head. Born and raised in Kuwait, Yousef's upbringing was not indicative of his future path of terror. His father's occupation as an engineer provided stability, but it was during this time that he befriended individuals who would later become his accomplices. Following his family's return to Pakistan, Yousef married and started a family of his own. However, his ties to extremism grew stronger as he pursued higher education in Britain. During college breaks, Yousef returned to Pakistan, where he utilized his engineering knowledge to instruct militants in bomb-making techniques in training camps near Peshawar. These camps served as fertile ground for networking with like-minded extremists from around the globe, cementing Yousef's status as a dangerous terrorist operative. In September 1992, Ramzi Yousef embarked on a journey from Pakistan to New York, armed with sinister intentions. Using a fake Iraqi passport, he cunningly sought political asylum upon his arrival at JFK Airport, a ruse that granted him entry into the United States. 8 months after the World Trade Center attack, he made his way to Manila, Philippines, where he meticulously fine-tuned the bomb intended for Philippine Airlines Flight 434. Furthermore, Yousef devised a sophisticated timing mechanism, using a modified digital wristwatch wired to a detonator inside the nitroglycerin bottle. While Yousef managed to evade capture, the FBI unearthed evidence of his sinister intentions through secret files on a laptop retrieved from his Manila hideout. These files revealed a meticulously planned operation codenamed Bojinka, aimed at bombing 12 American planes to kill a staggering 4,000 passengers. The adage that terrorists only need to succeed once, while authorities must be vigilant at all times, serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing battle against terrorism and the need for unwavering diligence in safeguarding air travel.